2.1, we're calling the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to start off tonight with just the reminder that this is a Fox School District building, and we do have to have our mask on. And so we're assuming that everybody will follow those guidelines. And we're going to start with 2.2, welcome and introductions. Dr. Gilman.
Randy Gilman, Assistant Superintendent, Elementary.
Tammy Cardona, Assistant Superintendent, Secondary.
April Meckel, Board Member.
Jim Shalhoub, Board Member.
Carol Yount, Board Treasurer.
Susan Graham, Board Secretary.
John Stewart, Chief Financial Officer.
Kelly Brock, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources.
Vicki Hansen, Board Member.
Michelle Chamberlain, Board Member.
Crystal Hargis, Vice President.
Paul Frigo, Superintendent.
Judy Smith, Board President. Going on to 2.3, approval of meeting minutes from September 21st. I need a motion.
Motion, Meckel.
Second, Yount.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? 2.4, approval of the agenda for the October 5th meeting. I need a motion.
Motion Hargis.
Shalhoub, second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. 3.1, we go to patron comments. Dr. Gilman.
Yes, we have one comment this evening, Mr. Jim Osha. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Osha. A warning will be given after 1.5 minutes. The Vice President of the Board will be the timekeeper.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak. First, I would like to wish all the teachers in the school district and around the world for World Teacher Day. The influence of a teacher can never be erased. I know on the comment form I used the word concerns. I'm actually more confused about how the mitigation policy is being implemented. I've got 4 different things I'm going to bring up. One, it was said that a board member didn't need a mask because they were vaccinated, but don't we have staff that is vaccinated as well? Number 2, students are being told that if they aren't wearing the mask properly, they will be written up. What does that mean? I don't know what the actual punishment entails, but I've heard of lunch detention. Nothing was sent to parents saying that if your child was not wearing their mask properly, not wearing a mask, because I know that was brought up, that if they didn't wear a mask, they would be sent back home, but if they're not wearing one properly, what is the punishment other than say, hey, pull it up? But why are we writing kids up for not wearing a mask, or not wearing a mask properly, I should say? Number 3, events are being denied, but we are having indoor spectators at indoor sports. But we can have a non-school event. We've got the Women's Expo coming up that's going to be held in here in a district building. But we can't have events for parents and kids to have as normal of a school experience, like a bingo night, a fall festival inside, because we're moving towards colder weather and we won't be able to hold as much outside as far as that. And number 4, and this one is the one that really gets me. We have been told to listen to the experts during the pandemic, but we have attorneys denying medical exemptions. Aren't medical doctors more versed and educated on the human body? Aren't parents and their doctors the ones that should make decisions on their health and well-being for themselves and their children? What medical basis do the district attorneys use for making these decisions? I hope it's not a CYA, or even worse, tied to funding allocated to the district.
Thank you, Mr. Osha. We are at 3.2, superintendent comments. Dr. Frigo.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'd like to talk about a few things that have been going on. We have some heroes in our midst. like to point out, first of all, Paul Tesmer. You see him pictured there. On September 21st, maintenance worker Paul Tesmer was at Seckman Middle School, and he noticed a student was fainting, and he reacted quickly and caught her before she hit her head on the concrete and kept her from a serious injury. So we're very thankful that Paul was such a quick-thinking person and cared about kids greatly to do that. So thank you, Paul, for doing that. A week before that, on September 23rd, after-school conditioning was going on. Seckman High School student Lily McBride, you see her pictured here, heard yelling coming from a house in the neighborhood where she and other student athletes were running. Lily informed Ryan Moyer, you see him pictured here, the coach on duty, that something obviously wasn't right. Ryan rushed to the house to learn that a young child had been submerged in water and was not breathing. Ryan immediately began performing CPR until the child regained consciousness and the paramedics arrived. Lily and Mr. Moyer truly saved a child's life by taking action. So, again, heroes in our midst. Thank you. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is something you've received numerous messages about throughout the year, the transportation update. Last Monday the 27th, we began our adjusted school times and adjusted bus routes, and I'm happy to report we have successfully adjusted these routes so kids are getting to school on time and they're getting home on time on a regular basis. I'd really like to thank all our parents for being so understanding and willing to adjust as we try to figure out the best way to transport every kid in the school district safely and on time. I'd like to thank our bus drivers for all the work they did, driving on weekends, figuring out the new routes and making sure they could pick up kids on time. Also our school staff for all their work, adjusting schedules, adjusting teacher schedules that we share between buildings. There's a lot that goes on in this. And we're very happy with the adjustments we made, and we're looking forward to not having to do this again moving forward. Yeah, Randy, keep our fingers crossed. Again, just a reminder, we're looking at major construction projects through 2024 that'll close roads and also create a lot of lane restrictions. And with the time we've built in, we're very confident now that we've seen it operate that we'll be able to get kids to school and home on time. So thanks everybody for their work on that. You should have received a message from me today about food service. It's been in the news all over the country. There's limited supplies of food in the area for schools, not just in the Midwest, but the entire country. It's something we're going to have to adjust every day. So you may not see menus posted on a consistent basis like you're used to. So just be aware of that. That's not due to lack of planning, it's due to lack of supplies. I was advised this morning, Ms. Jones is doing a good job keeping me informed, that the expected delivery of food didn't come today. When you talk to other school districts, some school districts are asking any parent who can to bring their lunch. Some school districts in Kansas haven't received deliveries for several months and no longer are providing school lunches. It's just been a perfect storm with COVID, the logistics of getting things across the country, plus a good thing of the all kids getting to eat free again this year, so you have increased demand and reduced supply. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this, but please monitor those menus. They'll be updated whenever possible, but again, it may change the next day due to available supplies. Okay, some more data I try to share every month, every meeting on COVID. This is an updated 7-day average new case rate. In the purple you see there is the current trend, and it's trending in the right direction over the last few weeks. We hope that continues and we can get below red and into orange in a timely fashion. So we're hoping that data trend continues for our 7-day average. Our positivity rate, the next slide, again, the trend over a longer period of time overall has been on the decrease, and we're hopeful that this trend continues to get us out of the red out of Orange and then back into a more normal life. And then the last one, the transmission data over the course of the year. Again, it's been pretty level, but it's trending to get below red status there as well. So we're hopeful these trends continue and we can have a better mitigation plan moving forward to allow us a little more freedom for folks moving forward. But we'll just continue to monitor this data. And again, we'll vote on that COVID mitigation plan every 30 days as promised. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, 4.1, substitute pay rates. Dr. Bracht.
We are requesting the board's approval for the attached changes to our substitute pay. So after looking at comps for pay rates from other St. Louis area and Jefferson County area school districts and pay rates, we believe these changes will help to make us more competitive. What we're looking at is a $5 increase for substitute teachers and substitute nurses, both for the regular pay and for the retiree pay. And the other change to note on the document is that the Fox C-6 retiree component is adjusted to just be a retiree from any school district. So if you're a retired teacher from Melville, you can come sub here and get our retiree rate rather than only Fox retirees. In addition, we are looking at some other changes potentially for our substitutes, and we may be bringing more information to the board about that in the future.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, we need a motion to approve the attached recommended changes to the substitute pay rate.
I make a motion, Hargis.
Second, Shalhoub.
All in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, 4.2, uninterrupted power supply bid approval. Mr. Stewart.
So you have before you the 3 bids for providing uninterrupted power supply to back up our phone system and other integral systems during power outages. This goes through E-rate, and so we'll be getting approximately 50% of that money back through E-rate. So engineered powered systems is the low bid at $23,610. After E-rate, that's $11,805. So we're asking the board to approve pardon me, the proposal from engineered powered systems for the UPS.
Okay, anybody have a question? We need a motion to approve the proposal from Engineer Power Systems for uninterrupted power supplies.
So moved, Shalhoub.
Second, Hanson.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, 4.3, out-of-town professional development opportunity for Scott Ludehauser from Fox High School. Dr. Cardona.
I'm asking the board's approval on the out-of-town travel for Scott Ludehauser, our Fox High School athletic director. He is wanting to attend the National AD Conference, which will be held in Denver, Colorado. And you will see there that the travel, lodging, meals comes to a total of $1,700, which will be paid for out of the Building 1% fund. And then I also kind of looked at all of the things that they're going to be going through in that conference. And I've got 2 pages of classes here, but a couple of them, talking about cultivating student leadership, how to deal with social and emotional amongst our athletes, and how to build good athletic programs, how to develop a captain's program within our athletes. So there's a lot of things here directly targeted towards students, so I'm just asking for approval for that conference.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the out-of-town professional development opportunity for Mr. Ludehauser.
Second, Chamberlain.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. And we have the same thing, Dr. Gilman, for out-of-town professional development for Beth Gross.
Correct. Beth Gross, she's a library media specialist at Merrimack Heights Elementary, and she would like to attend the American Association of School Librarians National Conference in Salt Lake City, Utah. And Ms. Gross has agreed to pay for her own travel and lodging, so the district, the building funds would only cover the cost of registration, which is $660.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, we need a motion to approve professional development travel request for Beth Gross, Library Media Specialist at Merrimack Heights Elementary School, to attend the 2021 American Association of School Librarians National Conference in Salt Lake City from October 21st to the 23rd, and paid from Building Professional Development Funds.
Motion.
Oh, go ahead.
Motion Chamberlain.
Second Hanson.
All in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay, 4.5, Edimont Online Learning Platform. Dr. Cardona.
I'm asking for the board's approval of this memorandum of understanding and agreement with Edmentum. So as you know, we have our virtual program, and all of the virtual programs fall under MOCAP. And then under MOCAP, you have Launch, you have MOCA, you have MOVA. Edmentum is another one of those that parents can choose, and we currently just don't have a memorandum of understanding with them for billing back and forth and things like that. So we're just asking the board to approve that.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the agreement with Edmentum MOCAP Online Learning Platform.
I make a motion.
You need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? 5.1, Chromebook update. Mr. Heidert.
Well, all right. Thanks so much for the opportunity this evening. It's always a great thing to get to give some good news. I love being the bearer of good news, right? So I get to talk a little bit about the one-to-one initiative that we've had going, and that we've seen culminate to some awesome numbers. I was thinking on the way over here tonight that really it was, as far as Fox is concerned, a little over 5 years ago that we kind of started down this road to do a lot of updating. We had probably less than 2-to-1 across the district. We were just barely struggling to keep those machines up to date. We had teachers' machines that were over 10 years old, lab machines that were over 10 years old. And in that whole period of time, we've been working towards this, and it is awesome to be able to report today that we have deployed 6,260 devices to students in our secondary schools this year, which is amazing. Super excited about that. Yeah, we have seen some great things. So JP, why don't we go ahead? I would like for you to see a little bit of kind of what's been going on in this project and a little video that he put together for us. Fox C-6 has steadily been increasing students' access to technology, and specifically Chromebooks, for the last 8 years. As a district, Fox C-6 has now gotten to where we are one-to-one at middle schools and high schools. And in other words, that means that all middle school and high school students have a school-issued Chromebook, which is huge news for our students, families, and staff members. The process of saturating our schools with technology and now being able to provide a district-issued Chromebook to all 6th through 12th grade students has really leveled the playing field, ensuring that each and every student has access to a safe, reliable device to help them create, collaborate, and think critically about information. As you will hear shortly, the only people who may be more excited about the district's Chromebook initiative than our students may be our staff members.
As a middle school teacher, I'm so excited to see my students walk into class every day with their Chromebooks. Knowing that all of my students have the same device to use makes my job as a teacher so much easier. In the past, I had to troubleshoot so many different devices. Things like Chromebooks, iPhones, tablets, and more. Each different type of device connects to the Wi-Fi a little bit differently and then also interacts with the resources differently. But with all of the students on the same type of device, I can spend more time focusing on teaching science and less time troubleshooting tech issues. At the end of the day, it's a win for the students, for the families, and for me.
Doing homework is more accessible because you don't have to go and find a Chromebook cart, and they charge really fast, so it's not like you're going to, like, it's gonna die on you.
Last year, I had to borrow a Chromebook every day. But sometimes I got a nice Chromebook, while other times it was a struggle because I had an older device. Sometimes it would be missing a few keys. Now that I have my own school Chromebook, it is a lot easier for me to get work done because there's one computer, one account, and a lot less confusion. Also, being able to take my Chromebook home at night makes digital homework so much easier. Now that everyone has their own Chromebook, it seems like we spend a lot less class time worrying about the connection to the Wi-Fi and more class time actually doing classwork. Things just run a little more smoothly now.
Issuing a district-owned Chromebook streamlines the process of providing consistent access to high-quality academic resources. Additionally, we are able to put safeguards in place on a district-owned Chromebook to help keep our students safe and secure when they're using their device. These are resources we just can't always provide on student-owned computers and smartphones.
As a principal, I want every opportunity for all of my kids in this building to be able to be successful. And one thing that has helped with that is being one-to-one with Chromebooks throughout our whole building. Every child in this building is able to have a district-owned Chromebook, and it has helped with multiple things in our building. It provides, an extra level of safety for our students. As we know, in this day and age, social media and some of the things that can happen with electronics can be kind of scary for kids as they're trying to navigate that, not only with trying to navigate being an adolescent, but it also helps the teachers, helps the administrators as making sure that they're doing the things that they need to be doing at the time. You make sure that they're not on websites that are not supposed to be on. Make sure that they're on task. When they're supposed to be doing homework, they're not watching a YouTube video and doing things like that. And having those district-owned Chromebooks have really helped us be able to monitor those things to make sure that they're successful and they're doing the things that they need to be doing.
Like I said, I'm excited about being one-to-one with Chromebooks. But the important thing to remember is, like all of the other instructional tools we use, the Chromebook is just that. It's an instructional tool. My students aren't on their screens every day, all day. Instead, we use Chromebooks as a resource to help the students create, collaborate, and think critically in new ways.
Well, definitely a great summary of kind of what's going on with our one-to-one program. He's just got an opportunity to see some of our kids obviously working. And there's been some great things that have come out of this whole project. Things that we didn't even necessarily see being produced out of it. One of the things that, was mentioned quite frequently, I think, in the video was some of the security features. And we're going to go back there. And I think it's important to kind of talk through this a little bit, just to give you a little background on why it's important that a student would have our device. Our devices have the ability to, obviously, when we own the device, we have the ability to provide filtering to a level that is compliant with all kinds of standards that allows us to at least do our best to possibly protect our students. There are classroom management tools that come along with this, and so from a teacher's standpoint, you are able to manage the Chromebooks that are sitting in your classroom during the time that they are in your classroom only, but it is a fantastic tool to be able to make sure they are on task, to make sure they're doing what they need to be doing. And then to the web filtering that I have there in the center. Student safety and in technology, it's growing at a rapid pace. And because of that rapid pace, we're seeing all kinds of new problems and new student issues that are coming up that we are doing our best to keep up with. This was a great way to be able to kind of look at what our students are doing, to be able to monitor what our students are doing. I can tell you that even today, we were looking at some alerts that were sent to our principals and counselors on things that we were concerned about. And I can tell you that we are able to meet a lot of problems before they really truly become problems, just because we're getting that feedback from notifications as it's coming through, which is notably something that we can do much more reliably on our machines. So there are other things that have come out. Obviously, assessments as we move forward is a huge thing that having district Chromebooks will meet the needs of. We often had trouble scheduling, who was going to get the Chromebooks for that particular time, and how am I going to move all of my students around to try and meet those testing needs. This will now be able to meet the needs to be able to test as needed in all of our schools, which is a big deal as well. as a fun thing that I think has really come out of this, and a really exciting thing as that has come out of it, we have partnered with Seckman Middle and Miss Strange in a computer engineering class. And our tech department, Mr. Steve Schubert and myself, have gone down and we make it's basically Friday repair day, and we go down and we teach courses teach that course based upon how to break apart the Chromebook, how to put it back together, giving kids all kinds of real world knowledge to be able to work with. What does it look like to replace a battery? What does it look like to replace a motherboard? What are these components and what are they used for? It's been awesome. We've had a great time working with the kids. We are dreaming big. We'd love to see it expand to even more, to get it to all of our middle schools here, maybe even as soon as next year. I know the kids have really enjoyed it already this year, just getting able to work with their hands and get in and doing something. So a lot of great things with one-to-one. Any questions that I can ask revolving around the program and anything that...
It's so exciting to watch you speak about it, Luke, because this is something that we had talked about, was the one-on-one when we first came on the board, and it's nice to see that it's come to fruition. What I was wondering, is there any conversations about bringing it down to the elementary level?
So I know that there has definitely been conversation. We'd love to see it, and now that we've seen even the success at the secondary schools, that conversation, I think, is going to be a continued one. We do have a very sustainable one-to-one program. And what I mean by that is, I mean that we built the program to be able to have a feasible amount phased in every year and phased out every year. But we believe that even at the end of this year, we're going to see large amounts being phased out at secondary schools, which are going to provide fantastic devices for elementaries at an exponential rate that we've never been able to do before. So while there is a lot of discussion on what it would look like just to get one-to-one in general, we know that even as soon as next year, those devices that will be rolling into elementaries are going to be more than we've seen on a normal year, probably ever. So.
Just a comment, having a second grader at the house, I can tell you at that level, they can handle these things now. I mean, it's not beyond them anymore at all. I mean, it's less beyond them than it is beyond me, I can tell you that for sure.
They could probably teach us some things.
That's great. Very good.
right,
Thank you for sharing that with us.
I'd just like to publicly thank Luke. I've been here, as everybody knows, since July, and he's impresses me daily with a true servant mindset, servant leader who really cares about kids, and we're really lucky to have Luke as part of our team. So I just wanted to publicly thank him for all his work.
Good job, Luke.
Thank you. Moving on to 6.1, change order number 4, approval at Antonia Elementary. Mr. Stewart.
So you have in front of you the change order number 4 at Antonia Elementary. This was for additional painting of cabinets, woodwork, and track panels in several classrooms, and the painting of a whole additional classroom. It came in at $4,295, which per policy FEF is below $5,000, which I went ahead and approved. So this is just the formal approval by the board.
Okay. We need a motion to approve change order number 4 for Antonia Elementary School as presented.
So move, Shalou.
Second.
hand.
There you go.
Any questions? All in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay. 6.2, change order number 5, approval at Antonia Elementary. Mr. Stewart.
So this change order is similar to the last one you just approved, except it had to do with gas piping on the rooftop to get temporary LP service to the kitchen so that we could provide lunches until Spire gets the gas lines, natural gas lines run out to the building. So again, this one was under the $5,000 mark, and I approved it. This is your formal approval of it.
Okay, we need a motion to approve change order number 5 for Antonia Elementary School as presented.
Make a motion, Hargis.
Smith, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. 6.3, potential change order. Mr. Stewart.
So at Antonia Elementary, we have, I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but we currently have gas service through an LP tank farm out behind the building. With the new addition, we are, and Spire has been extending their grid, so we're going to have natural gas run to the building that will fully feed the new addition, and the new units, HVAC units that we put on that school this year, they will be natural gas as well. Spire is not complete with the job yet, and we're getting close to cooling season. They're supposed to be done with the work by the middle of October, and so depending on the timing and any potential delays, we may need to hook these up to our LP tanks. And so there's different fittings, and there's some of the existing line that is there has failed, and so this potential change order would just allow the work to be done on a timely fashion should that conversion need to be done for LP service. It's $17,971. Obviously, if we don't need to do it, Spire gets it out there in time, we won't have to do it, and this cost will not be incurred.
Hey, John, question. Is the natural gas from Spire cheaper to use than the LP that we're currently having to have brought in?
I believe that is accurate, Mr. Schlimm.
So this is a project that essentially pay for itself.
Yes.
And you said they are on schedule as of now?
They are scheduled to have it complete by the middle of October, which is kind of a fluid line, but sometimes that's how it goes in construction.
Okay.
And depending on weather and I mean, I know they had some issues and delays earlier in the year with getting easements to run the lines along Highway M there and whatnot. So, I mean, that's their goal is the middle of October, which is coming up.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the potential change order for Antonia Elementary School as presented.
So moved, Hanson.
Second, Shalhoub.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. 6.4 Guffey Elementary Playground, Mr. Stewart.
So as you recall, approving the bid for Guffey Playground to be installed in July. That contractor notified us that they were not going to be able to do that, meet that bid amount. And so we went to contractor number 2, which was similar equipment and the same price. And they have agreed that they can meet that bid amount. So we're asking the board to rescind the approval of the bid from All Inclusive Rec and to approve the bid from Playground Equipment Professionals. Both bids were $120,000.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. We need a motion to rescind the approval of the bid from All Inclusive Rec for $120,000 to install a new playground at Guffey Elementary School, and approve the bid from Playground Equipment Professionals for $120,000 to install the new playground equipment at Guffey Elementary School.
Motion Hargis.
Second, Meckel.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? 7.1 consent agenda, items 7.2 through 7.6. I need a motion to approve all consent agenda items 7.2 through 7.6.
So move, Shalhoub.
Second Hargis.
All in favor?
Yes.
Anyone
Abstain.
opposed? Okay, Vicki abstained. I want to thank the parents and community members for being here tonight and continuing to support the students here at school. And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? And good night.